A complex number is a number that can be represented on a plane using a real part and an imaginary part. The imaginary unit is a special number whose square is -1. The real part of a complex number is the component on the horizontal, real, axis. The imaginary part of a complex number is the component on the vertical, imaginary, axis. The modulus of a complex number is its distance from the origin on the complex plane. A logarithm tells what exponent is needed to obtain a given number from a given base. The base of a logarithm is the number used as the repeated multiplication reference. An exponential function is a function in which the variable appears in the exponent. A polynomial function is a function defined by a polynomial expression in the variable. A rational function is a function expressed as a ratio of two polynomials. A root, 0, of a function is an input value that makes the output equal to 0. A graph's intercept is a point where the graph crosses an axis. A symmetry of a graph means the graph looks unchanged after a flip or a turn. A transformation of a function is a change to its graph such as shifting, stretching, or reflecting. A limit describes the value that a function approaches as the input approaches a certain point. Continuity means a function can be drawn without lifting your pencil around a point. A derivative describes the instantaneous rate of change of a function. A tangent line is a line that just touches a curve at a point and matches its local direction there. The slope at a point is how steep a graph is at that point. An integral represents accumulation, such as total area or total change. A definite integral represents a total amount accumulated over an interval. An indefinite integral represents a family of functions whose derivative is the given function. An antiderivative is a function whose derivative equals a given function. A sequence converges if its terms get closer and closer to a single value. A sequence diverges if it does not approach any single finite value. A series is the sum of the terms of a sequence. A geometric series is a series formed from the terms of a geometric sequence. A vector space is a collection of objects that can be added and scaled in a consistent way. A matrix is a rectangular array of numbers used to represent data or transformations. A row vector is a matrix with one row. A column vector is a matrix with one column. A linear transformation is a function between vector spaces that preserves addition and scaling. The identity matrix is the matrix that leaves a vector unchanged under multiplication. An inverse matrix is a matrix that undoes the effect of another matrix. A determinant is a value associated with a square matrix that indicates how the transformation scales area or volume. A linear equation is an equation in which the variables appear only to the first power. A quadratic equation is an equation in which the highest power of the variable is 2. A root of an equation is a value that makes the equation true when substituted. A function is one-to-one if different inputs always produce different outputs. An inverse function reverses the input-output relationship of a one-to-one function. A composition of functions is a new function made by applying one function after another. A piecewise function is a function defined by different rules on different parts of its domain. A parametric equation describes a curve using a third variable called a parameter. A polar coordinate system locates points using a distance from the origin and a direction. A vector's dot product is a way to combine two vectors to produce a single number measuring alignment. A plane is a flat surface that extends infinitely in two directions. A line in space is the straight path that extends infinitely in both directions. A point is an exact location with no size. A theorem is a mathematical statement proven to be true using logical reasoning. A proof is a logical explanation that shows a statement must be true. A conjecture is a statement believed to be true but not yet proven. An axiom is a basic statement accepted without proof as a starting point. A counterexample is an example that shows a general statement as false. A contradiction is a situation where two statements cannot both be true at the same time. A corollary is a result that follows easily from a previously proven theorem. A lemma is a helper result proved mainly to use in proving a larger theorem. A model is a simplified representation used to understand or predict real situations. An algorithm is a step-by-step method for solving a problem. Complexity describes how the time or memory needed by an algorithm grows as the input grows. A graph, in graph theory, is a structure made of vertices connected by edges.